is a Cosmic Octave original podcast.
Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking weed.
I'm married.
Yeah,
I'm
spooky.
married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
Oh, that's right, everybody. It's Halloween.
It's time for Wolfman Jack coming at you.
Copyright. This is Wolfman Jake.
Wolfman Jake. I'm Tyler.
No, you're Titty Tyler.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
What was that?
I was thinking of alliteration, and titty was the first thing that popped in my head. And I apologize to all our listeners. And that's not the curse.
You should apologize.
Titty is not a curse.
Me. Oh, I was going to say, I was like, why is our show cursed now? Because you said titty?
You talked about the witch's tit, and now you are cursed.
It's colder than... Okay, enough about tits. Right off the bat. I mean,
wow.
You know...
Maybe... Jeez. So usually...
we just...
So, anyway, we're recording on Halloween. This will go up November 1st.
We have spooky surprises for you today.
Yeah, one of us is going to kill the other one before the end of the podcast. That's the spooky surprise.
One of us will be dead.
My money's on me because I'm the one that brought it up.
No, my money's on me because I'm making you eat these.
You're wild enough that I think if I were to say between the two of us, you're the one more capable to kill a man. What?
That's a horrible...
You got stuff. There's nothing behind those eyes.
What?
The blackest eyes.
My God.
The devil's eyes.
My God.
It's fucking
I think
Halloween.
you have.
Have you ever seen
I think
it?
you
2
would
minutes
have
in,
more,
by the way.
I think. Oh, did we swear?
Yeah, I just said fucking
Fuck.
Halloween.
I would say, you have something to lose, and to protect. You know what I mean? Like, I would probably have to get really rambunctious over here for you to be like, well, I'm just gonna have to kill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I
it's
like a home invader. I don't even think then I would kill someone. There's people that get like fucking foamed up at the idea of like I could shoot this home invader with my gun. It's like I don't want to. If I'm shooting someone, I'm shooting them to wound them. I'm not shooting them to kill them.
Tell
you know what I mean?
Can I go one better on you?
What?
I just don't want other people in my house.
Well, yeah.
Does that sound okay?
Take my shit, by the way.
No. Don't take my shit. Just don't come into my house if you don't live there. Thank you.
Well, yeah, that.
Thank you.
But I'm saying if you're going to just rob me.
Hey, why don't we have a society where people don't feel the need to go steal things to make a living?
How about we live in a society
instead of working at shit jobs like we do?
I don't know.
Anyway. So welcome to our panel off topic. We're going to fuck shit up. Sorry.
Fuck.
Turn it up, man. Is that freedom rock, man?
It's yacht rock.
Well, turn it up, man. Did you know that? You trying to draw me out? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I said, hey,
what's it taste like? Salty or sweet?
All right, anyway, Hoosiers. Wow. Tonight, we're going to say goodnight to our taste buds.
This is,
I'm scared.
I am too.
It is the spooktacular.
Well, last week we did the, let me make sure that's turned down. Last week we did the Japanese stuff that I got, and it was cucumber flavored yam crisps.
Loved it.
I did not like them, and those are the ones that I thought I would like. And so the fact that those were kind of to me, tonight's,
fuck you.
Yeah,
That's what you said.
tonight's is sizzling artificial squid flavor.
I'm going to say no to this one. It's a no
What if it's
for
really
me, dog.
fucking good?
Doubt it. Squid. Something that ugly can't taste very good. That's all I got to say. And call me Squidus All you want. You know it's true. You know it's true.
Okay. Well, they got small chips, so it doesn't smell awful. Remember those shrimp chips?
Shrimp chips?
So remember how they smelled and they didn't taste bad, but they. You're
God.
taking a big one. You can take smaller ones.
What are you looking? That's what she said.
Don't take the big. You even take it. Yeah.
Well, you work your way up.
You ready?
No. Yep. Now you're starting to get it. Now you're starting to taste it. Yeah. I was just, you know, a lot
Did
of.
you give one to him?
No.
Give one to him and see if he likes it.
Oh, fuck you.
No, thank you. I'm out. Can he eat a squid?
Wow, he likes it.
He's gonna.
Because it's fucking food.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This is a creature that eats his own shit.
Hey, I have not seen him do it. They only do that in the wild, and that's the mother covering up the puppy's poop from predators. You know, especially with their infrared vision, the predators. Anyway, what do you feel?
Here's the thing. There was at least enough flavor to it that it was better than last week, but I will go ahead and give it a boo fuck you, too. I'm not going to...
Oh, fuck you.
I'm not going to sit and eat a bag of those, so those will go right in the... Feel bad.
Should give them to someone that wants them.
They had a Mexican chicken tomato flavor, like I said, like for a bunch of them. And that was really specific and odd to me. Like Mexican chicken...
Yeah.
Tomato. Why those three things? Also... What do you mean chicken tomato? Like, is there a kind of tomato grown in Mexico that's called the chicken tomato? And that's what this flavor is?
Why is it called a chicken tomato, Tyler?
I have no...
If we're going to go down that road.
I have no idea.
Does it click? How do you know? So yeah, boo fuck you, squid.
I was thinking that it was a tomato that looked like an egg.
I mean, if I'm lost at sea... and I gotta eat something, maybe I'll eat a squid. But other than that, I ain't eating squid. You know?
I don't know if you ever seen Old Boy, the original one, the Korean version, but the guy who played the main character is a vegetarian.
Oh, really?
And he had to do 3 takes of eating live squid for a scene.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's a pretty brutal scene. You've heard of the hallway fight scene in that movie?
Yeah.
That's almost as brutal.
Well, to be fair, I've only seen the Spike Lee one. I've not seen the original.
That's with
Korean.
Josh Brolin?
Yeah.
I've never seen that one, but the original Korean version I watched when they were still setting out DVDs. Somebody told me they still do that. I don't know.
I think they just stopped recently, a year or so ago.
But when they were still doing that back in the day, like in the aughts, I saw it because it was recommended to me, and I saw a lot of odd art house kind of films like that, and this took my breath away because this guy, the director, was clearly influenced by Hitchcock a lot, like a lot of the camera angles and the different decisions that the DP made and things like that. And it was cool because it was done. And it's like the Beatles trying to do like American rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or American blues or Led Zeppelin, it's like, oh, you create a whole new thing that's like so much cooler than its parts, Yeah. It's the same thing like somebody in Korea who grew up watching Hitchcock films from, the United States. They bring their sensibilities from their lives and their culture and everything into this inspiration, and they create something that is better than what they were inspired by. You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about something that inspires me, and that is the penguin. I don't know how to get it there. I was trying to think of a fun segue, and that's what I got. Episode 7. No, episode 6, right?
Oh, 7. Because I believe the next
7.
one's...
No, I thought there was like 2 episodes.
Should I look it up? You got a
Pretty-
fucking computer.
No, it's 6.
Fucking jerk.
It's 6 because I got HBO Max right here.
Oh, yeah?
I'll pull
Why
it
don't
up.
You pull it up on your fucking...
Yeah, pull it up.
Hey, I'm trying
Stop
to...
it.
I'm trying to help my... What?
Stop it. Hey, Victor.
7 episodes. I told you. Oh, wait, that's on the 3rd. Okay, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Fuck you. 6 episodes. So yeah, Gold Summit is the most recent episode. So I watched it before we recorded.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on it are pretty fresh. And I was saying this from the beginning. I was saying this in the Batman. I really like him as the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was one of the most versatile episodes for that. Especially because we got a moment of humanization and a relatable moment. I think everybody can, maybe not to the level of, we're not going to go beat by beat, but like the moment where he finds his mom in the bathtub. No, I don't necessarily think that that's relatable to everybody, in a sense that I don't think there is that element of dementia to this, but it's very relatable thought and moment of like, at some point, whether you're ready for it or not,
You're taking care of your parents.
and you're going to have to bury your mother. That's just the nature of life, right? But it's a moment where she's like, but when I die when I say I die, and I'm not going to let this disease take my dignity. And it's a very human, emotional moment. Like, it's, and the part that hit me the hardest, and I think the part that's so brilliant about it, and what gets Oz to snap out of it, and a very human response. She goes, "You will do it. I am your mother. I have given you everything. You give me this."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fuck. Because if my mom said that, I'm helping her do that, because that's the truth. If you have a loving, caring mom who does the best she can, she has every right to say that. Like, I've given you everything.
It's a
Just give me
incredibly
this.
compelling moment in the series, and other than that, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot cattle prod.
Right, because I'm afraid I'm the same way, because I'm very close.
I don't even
I'm
want
close
to think about it.
No, I'm close to my mom too, and it was, well, it's fucking crazy to go from my birthday, right, and then spend time with my mom, and then have this episode come up and be like, shit.
I live with my mom.
No, I know, but it's just
Yeah.
like, no, but that's like it. It is a really good job of making a human relatable story and a human relatable character.
Yeah.
But also, and it makes you root for him a little bit, but then also in the same episode, he's a fucking bastard.
Oh, yeah.
And it's you're reminded he's a villain. These are not, by the way, all the people in this show are fucking shitty people. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
This is the story of the shitty Gotham underworld that Batman is fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't read the article, but I did see a headline saying, like, this show is great at building what Matt Reeves' Batman is going to have to become to fight this Gotham.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. I think this show is very great at that. But I've been kind of rambling. How did you feel about it?
I'm hoping that there is I'm hoping that there's some sort of more connection to Batman, if you will.
In the last 2?
I'd like to see something.
Yeah.
I don't care, though. I mean, here's the thing. If we go through this entire series and we see nothing about the Batman or whatever, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's that good of a series. But having said that, the moment, like, you see when Victor's thinking about pulling out the gun. Because he has no other choice. He tried to get Squid in by giving him money.
So, yeah, Squid is a dude. Excuse me.
They know who he is.
Well, yeah, Victor explains that Squid is someone that's worked with him in the
watch the
past, and he's been like, hey, I know you're with that old lady. Maybe I'll go talk to her. Like,
Yeah.
he knows everything that happens at
Right.
Ground Point.
And this is a very like it's a very relatable moment from like, hang on. It's a very relatable moment because there's a lot of these types of moments like in The Wire where people try and do as best as they can to protect their loved ones, and they realize that sometimes violence in their world that they live in, violence is the only answer to protect them, right? And so you can see him about to pull the gun. You see him not wanting to. It's okay. You can see him not wanting to pull the. You can see him not wanting to pull the gun, and he does, and he shoots him, and of course he doesn't shoot him right on because he doesn't know how to. Right? This is probably the first time he's ever shot anybody, and he's just like horrified, as well he should be, you know.
Yeah.
And there's also that really human moment between him and Penguin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When after he kills Squid. Yeah. Have you been watching the behind the scenes shit at the end? God damn it, Tyler.
I started to, and then I keep forgetting because
they make a great.
Why don't you just have it right after the show? Don't give me credits. I'm not going to watch the credits.
It's credits, then it's a preview.
I know.
And then it's a fucking.
I fucking know. Ma.
I've been watching HBO shows long enough to know that there's always a behind, especially these HBO
well,
originals.
I guess I'll just go do it when I get home.
Well, I can just tell you. But so it gives you a ton of context to the show. And the part so when he kills Squid, this is a guy he's known since he was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's a and the guy who plays Victor is just great in the show too.
Yeah.
Because it's a very why did you make me do that? Because he put him to a point, he tries to pay him off, and he's like, it ain't gonna work. But just
like I said, sometimes in those types of situations, you don't want to, but you're protecting your loved ones.
Yeah.
You're protecting your people, and sometimes in those worlds, the only way to protect them is to commit violence.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible truth.
So the behind the scenes on that, where they were talking about.
So get to it.
That scene in particular.
Yeah.
Where they have that moment where he says, "It gets easier."
I've heard that, by the way.
The whole context of that was the director was talking about it, or the showrunner was talking about it, and she was talking about how important that was to have that moment of genuine human emotion, but it's also the darkest part of the show because that is Penguin saying, "That's your first kill, kiddo.
Many more to come,
and it'll get easier because it's the gig."
I just said, I've heard that before. I don't know a lot of killers, by the way, but every movie and TV show I've ever seen, that, yeah. I mean, and every book I've read, every nonfiction book I've read about people who have killed multiple people, say in the military, the first one, what is that fucking, God damn it. That little motherfucker was the toughest.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. He's talking about Charles Kaufman. Damn it. What movie is it?
Anyway.
True Romance. So True Romance, James, the guy who played Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini, plays this mob enforcer, and he catches up to Arquette, Patricia Arquette's character, and he's beating the crap out of her and everything, and he's talking to her while she's laying on the ground, and he's waiting for her Christian Slater to come back so he can get them both because they stole a bunch of money from whatever. So he's telling her a story about Charles Kaufman, and he was telling him he's like, the first one, it's a great scene because he just, eats it up and everything. And he's like loading his shotgun and stuff. And he's like, but I'll bet you that first little fucking ant, but that first one was the bitch of the bunch, huh? And it's great because in the end, by the end of the scene, Patricia Arquette fucking kills the fuck out of James Gandolfini in a righteous fucking fury, and is still beating the shit out of his dead body when Christian Slater finally gets back with the burgers and is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because he's freaked out.
Well, spoilers, I've never seen it, so.
Brad Pitt's in that movie.
Yeah,
he plays a total stone. You've never seen that?
Well, no, I know that because that was the inspiration for Pineapple Express for James Franco's character.
Huh.
Brad Pitt's character was in it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Penguin. So a couple other things too. Episode opens with Sophia fucking that dude apparently, because he's butt ass naked.
Oh yeah.
Like shit, she's a dommy mommy stuff. All right, that's the show we're starting with. That's the thing we're starting with right now.
Well, hang on. I think we all need to remember the episode that we saw, and we all need to remember that when she shows the makeup in this show is fucking incredible. You don't even realize it's makeup. I know that what's her name?
Kristen
Milioti.
Yeah.
I know. I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, that she's not super fucking scarred up like that in real life.
Oh yeah, I think that's
all makeup to denote all the abuse she suffered at Arkham.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, so when you think about that, and then the other episode where they show all the shit that she went through and probably was sexually abused at some point during all that
there's
shit.
a lot of shit we don't see. She was there 10 years.
Well, they fucking there's a point where they put her in stirrups and show the speculum.
Yeah.
Which is ugh. Well, that's when they admit her because they're checking for drugs. Ugh, God, that's awful. That's got to be awful. Anyway.
Oh yeah, the thought. Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, but honestly, we don't kink shame on this show, and not that you were, but
I'm just describing what it was.
Yeah, I mean, go for it, right?
Dommy mommy, come on.
But
There's nothing wrong with that.
Here's my thing that I didn't understand is that she almost immediately went to see Sal. And yeah, I know he's cooking, but listen. I don't know. I mean, I just fucked.
Well, you know,
you ever smelled like sex? You know,
yeah, I know. I've had sex.
I'm just saying, like maybe you could have shown, or maybe you could have shown her in it. I'm just saying, like, if it was
you think it's funny that she's going to him post nut? Is that's do you think
especially if it was, you know, if it was inside her? I mean, I don't know. Or maybe he wears a condom.
Maybe.
I'm just saying,
maybe she's got a little.
If I'm about to meet with my crime boss buddy partner,
my surrogate father,
yeah, I'm gonna take a shower.
Which, by the way.
Or at least do the quote unquote the sink bath.
Another behind the scenes.
Wash the privates, the pits and privates.
I gotta say, I'm so fucking
Just
glad.
Get the sex off.
Can we get to the next part?
No, because I want to make sure. Like, I don't care that she's doing that. I'm saying, like, I prefer to like not smell
she
like
fuck. But I'm just saying, take a shower.
Why do you want to smell like fuck?
Take a shower before you go see your surrogate dad. And I say surrogate dad because they talk about that a lot. The behind the scenes.
Oh.
Because. Well, it's such a weird dynamic because she's a Gigante now, no longer a Falcone. Her dad's dead. Her whole family's dead. His family's dead. Mm-hmm. His wife's dead. Sons. So, like, it's this weird moment of, like, these bitter rivals, their families, right? And that's kind of like this weird thing of this found family. And they talk about it with, like, in the behind-the-scenes stuff about how, like, he is like, it's almost like he's a father figure to her.
Well, yeah.
And
he's a better one than she was.
Better than Carmine, right? And
he listens.
It's such a crazy moment too, and I'm so fucking glad they didn't kill Clancy Brown out, like kill Sal, and he's still here because, dude, I love Clancy Brown. That dude doesn't get enough credit, and he's so good in this. Like, again, the whole cast is just fucking great. This show
you're
is
right,
unbelievable.
But you know Clancy Brown. What people fucking really forget.
He's Mr. Krabs.
Sure, he's a lot of people. But what people seem to forget is he is the fucking the head guard in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
People forget about that now because it was long enough ago, and he looks different enough now. And he what?
Just looking at my dog.
And he mostly does voice work, I think. But yeah, he's an imposing, actor.
Yeah.
And he definitely has that kind of that classic face of like.
He's also the drill sergeant in Starship Troopers.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
the one who captures the bug at the end.
That's right. Fuck.
Yeah.
But I my favorite Clancy Brown role is Shawshank Redemption. He's so good in that.
Again, Mr. Krabs. He's great as Mr. Krabs.
Of course. He's great as Surtur.
He's done a lot of voice work too. Yeah.
He's got that gruff voice.
Are you done?
Listen here.
Dog's sneezing.
Listen here, you.
I did forget he's Surtur in Ragnarok.
Yeah. It's a crown.
No, yeah, that's great. I love
Looks like
so much about this episode. And it continues to go up, and then like the fucking okay. So the
very
scene
end?
no, before that, but even before all that. So he has the stuff with his mom, but he's so pissed about the fucking power. He goes to City Hall, finds the crooked councilman, puts fucking pliers on his septum, and yanks it. He goes, "You give him the fucking power, you can divert the money, or I can tell him you paid your gambling debts with taxpaying."
So he gets that paid off, but before we get to the end
a lot of red
of
tape.
that,
Fucking figure it out.
Don't forget he also unites all of the other crime lords.
The beer scene, amazing scene, because this is the first time we've really seen him get to do a monologue as Penguin, and to unite all of them, and again, I'm waiting for the fucking chuds to be pissed, because this is like the most socialist fucking woke shit you can make for a TV show, right? Because it's like the ultimate, we could take it back, just us.
Here's what I
workers.
thought. Here's what I thought was gonna happen with the triads, is because they were hesitating so much. I honestly thought that not Zhao, his underling. Fuck, I can't remember. But I honestly thought he was going to, like, if his boss didn't, I thought he was gonna crack it and then shoot his boss.
Ooh, that'd been cool.
I'm glad that they all did it, and I like that there's just there's a lot of. It's cool, man. I love
the fact that, but that's the thing. Colin Farrell is so fucking good and charismatic that even though we know Oz is a shit dude, but that beer scene, that cheers, that whole thing, you were rooting for him.
Yeah.
Because I was smirking the whole scene. Cause I'm
even
like, this
though he
motherfucker,
just burned a mom and her son alive.
Yes. He's killed people, and he just told his underling, like, you get used to it, buddy. Another scene we've got to talk about. Is her name Roxanne? Or the sex worker.
Fuck yeah! Oh, that one was
amazing scene.
Yeah,
amazing.
Both actresses.
And
Eve.
This is why I think people.
Eve.
This is why I think people they were gonna think it was.
Don't just pass it along like it's nothing. I thought of it, Eve.
I said Eve.
All right.
Way to derail the momentum. Jesus.
It's my job.
Well, then you gotta quit. That sequence. This is why I said that people. Why are people calling this like woke propaganda? Because Sophia's character is constantly being like, and Eve in this situation being like, "Fuck men. You shouldn't have any loyalty to this piece of shit. He knew I didn't kill those people and made me go to work, and Carmine continued to fucking kill people because of him. Kill women." Specifically, your girls that you love and your family.
It's a great moment of unity through the bond
of being fucked over by men.
No, it's a trauma bond
that
we all share with different people, various traumas.
Sure.
And one of the ones that they share is that they both were lied to and betrayed in the most horrific manners by Oz, a man who has said that he loves both of them. And they both get to a point where they're like, dude, the fuck we doing here? But I also like that, I don't know, I like that the character was like, I'm prepared for her to, kill me. I'm prepared for it. Yeah.
And again, that moment of realization, too, of when she tells her the truth.
Yeah.
And that moment of realization, taking it back and being like, Crown Point. She has that moment of like, you know what? I don't have any fucking loyalty to this guy.
And that leads us to the very, very last scene,
and that
which
whole
is
thing, like, man,
because the power comes on.
Well, just the fact that when she has the. By the way, I just want final thing with that of like the fucking tension of her having the gun just aimed and ready, being like, you knew he killed my brother because you were his alibi. She's like, at first I didn't, but yeah, I was. And again, that's the whole point. I love that. You're right. I love it, and it's something you only can really see in fiction. and you don't really see much in real life. You only see it in fiction. Of that,
Well, I don't know if it happens in real life. We don't see it.
Most of the time, people don't. But that thing of like, no, that moment of realization of death, where she says, "I didn't know, but I did." And if you were gonna kill me for it, you're gonna fucking do it. So just do it.
When she, you know, I think not only when she brings up the hangman at first, I think she's resigned herself to be shot by this person, and she's like, I'm gonna make her do it now, so I don't have to listen to some stupid bullshit monologue or whatever. So, aren't you gonna kill me like you did all the other girls? You know, there is obviously she doesn't know the truth, so she really does think that she's the hangman. But she doesn't give a fuck at that point. She's like, well, she's crazy. If I egg her on enough, she'll, act impulsively and shoot me, and it'll be over.
It'll be over.
And I totally understand that. I mean, I've never been in that situation, but I don't know. I guess, like I said, there's a certain dignity in saying, like, no, I choose.
So the final scene.
Oh.
We find
Power
out.
finally comes on.
Power comes on. It's a nice moment. Victor's dancing with Oz's mom, and then we see in the background Sophia's there with a crowbar. And then...
Oh, shit.
It's going to be pretty wild, too, because I know in the previews for the next episode, Oz shows up and they're gone and everything, and he gets like, I'm not taking you anywhere until I got my mother or something like that, and Sal's like got him up, and he's like, there's him and some other guys, and he's like, you trying to make a deal? Like... It's so funny because, what cards do you have, man? Like, he's going to get what he wants from you. But who knows? These last 2 episodes are going to be fucking insane. Like, I don't even know what's... Yeah.
You're insane.
All right. Speaking of finales. Episode 8 and 9 of Agatha All Along dropped on All Hallows Eve. And I have some opinions.
I know you do.
We're going to have some differing opinions.
I know you fucking do.
Let me tell you this right now.
My name is Jake, and I don't like good television.
Had this would have ended with episode 8, I would have said it is up there.
Bravo, Marvel Studios. Wait.
Will you stop?
Before we get into the
What?
show, did you watch like the sizzle reel at the beginning,
Yeah, I did.
showing all the new stuff?
Well, I wanted to talk about that. Daredevil
Do we want to talk
Born
about
Again
that
is coming out in
first?
March, by the way. I don't really. I mean, it's all stuff we all know is coming. Like, I don't. There
I
wasn't.
can't believe you don't want to talk about Wonder Man.
That was cool. That was more than I was expecting of that. I will say that. I just expected like
Ironheart.
I mean, sure, cool. What? It wasn't enough in that sizzle reel to get me excited. Other than like,
you didn't get a raging bone. All right.
I got a raging
metaphysical.
I got a raging boner over Daredevil because that's still
that looks pretty cool.
It's still I'll die on this hill, and it's not a hard hill to die on, but I'll die on it. It's still the best piece of Marvel TV of all time.
It's even charging.
Will you just turn your damn phone off?
I'm trying to get it to charge, and it's not charging.
Well, then turn it off. I don't even want to see it.
You just calm down. So tell me about the first.
So, had this would have ended with 8 episodes, I would have said it was up there with WandaVision and some of my other some of the Miss Marvel, like more of the upper echelon.
Did I tell you that I watched rewatched the first episodes of WandaVision on accident?
You know,
it's still a really good show,
Yeah.
and watching it through the lens of knowing everything is really interesting.
Yeah, but it doesn't end with 8 episodes. It ends with the 9th episode, and I was not okay with it. Here's why. Spoilers. Episode 8 ended perfectly. Wrapped up the whole series perfectly, in my opinion. We resolve the road. We find out truly how strong Billy is and what he can do with his powers but not showing us everything. Mm-hmm. And then the show has Star Wars syndrome, where well enough is not okay, and we got to keep fucking explaining shit that we already explained. We've already explained. Every little bag of tricks you showed us, you delivered in episode 8. So what was the purpose of episode 9? To give Catherine Hahn an extra episode on her contract? Like, what was it for? Other than to what? Fucking bring up Nicholas Scratch? Take that part of her making up the road shit, put that in episode 8 and just make episode 8 a little bit longer. That's it. That's how you do it. You don't need to have her go all the way back to her house as a ghost to be like, yeah, buddy, you made it all yourself, even though he already figured that out in the previous episode. Tell me, Tyler, give me a reason why there was a 9th episode. It should have just made episode 8 longer, added her backstory in at the beginning, and it would have been fine. But, like, why the fuck is like, what are we doing this shit with the ghost? Like, what are we doing here? I don't understand. I don't like her being a ghost. I do like her chemistry.
Okay.
I will say this.
Uh-huh.
I do like her chemistry with who's the dude? Who's the actor?
Joe Locke.
Joe Locke. Their chemistry is really good.
Oh, let me backtrack a little bit.
Look at it this way. Congratulations, Agatha All Along. You made me care way more than I ever thought I would about you as a show, where I'm bitching that you had a 9th episode because I thought it ended perfectly.
Do you remember a couple weeks ago when I sounded almost Chud-like when I was talking about, how like, oh, they ruined Adam Murdoch. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
I do understand the irony of it. And I try really hard to give the benefit of the doubt with adaptations of the comic book material for a myriad of reasons. 1, it might look stupid in live action. 2, it might not work in live action. 3, this is what we've set up so far, so this is how we're going to, I get it, right? I get it. Okay. Still pissed I haven't seen a Beta Ray Bill yet, you motherfuckers. Anyway.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But when it comes down to it,
I want that.
When it comes down to it, in the comics, generally Agatha Harkness has been a spirit, and a white-haired spirit. And so I am all for showing me comic accurate Agatha Harkness. A. B. She looks like she's going to be kind of a mentor to Wiccan going forward with the Young Avengers, which they're clearly moving towards. So she's going to help him find Tommy. And C, as a musician, I loved seeing all of how the lyrics were written at the time that they were inspired. You wait a second, mister. And I loved that it gave Catherine Hahn an extra episode to act. And they were probably like, do you mind if we do like a sequence where like you're like killing witches from like different eras and you're dressed in these different cool costumes? And she was like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm an executive producer. Let's fucking make that happen. And any other actress or actor would have done the same. And as I'm pretty sure, I think they're all referred to themselves as actors at this point, right? Anyway, so I really liked it a lot. I was extremely pleased with the way that they showed a little bit more of Agatha Harkness's backstory. The only criticism I have, honestly, is why? Why is she having to kill all the other witches? That's the only thing that I want to know. Other than that, I thought it was great. Again. I know you don't like episodes where women are featured.
I fucking knew it.
You fucking
closet
jerk.
chud.
Yep. Comes
Again, that's my point. But I'm agreeing with you.
Is that your biggest
time out? I am agreeing with you.
Right.
The beginning of episode 9 could have been the beginning of could have been in episode 8.
I liked you know what? I like it when they wrap it up all fucking neat with a bow and hand it to me on a platter with a fucking spoon sometimes.
I'll give you points. If she is a spirit in the comics and that's what they want to do, fine. But can I give you this? Here's what Ashley said about this. My wife said this. And I didn't necessarily agree with it at the time because I'm like, you could just make episode 8 longer and just make it that. This should have been episode 1 of season 2. This should not have been episode 9.
There should not be a season 2.
No, but this doesn't feel like a finale of any kind because episode 8 had finality to it. and episode 9 didn't. And yet,
how did it not? They're like, let's go find Tommy, and they went off.
So we're gonna cliffhanger to do a fucking like.
That's not a cliffhanger. That's a.
To what? You know there's going to be something else now.
No, Young Avengers is coming, so just wait for that, and then they'll describe how they found Tommy when they get to that.
More fucking homework, Marvel. Thanks. Thought I wasn't in school anymore. But that's what I'm saying. Is like this. I want to be very clear. I'm not saying I could write it better. I'm not saying what my version would be, like my thing. I would have preferred. Episode 9 felt tacked on to me, and
I didn't know there was 9. I
didn't either. I thought it was over at 8.
I got home from doing my radio show last night, and normally it's ready to go or whatever, and it was like 2-episode finale, and I'm like,
I thought it was 8. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. More stuff to watch, and
I was excited for episode 9, by the way.
I had just bought the book for my book club, which is really interesting. And I had also bought this really cool thing that I will talk about in the long box. But I still was like, okay, I got 2 episodes to watch, so okay. And I watched the entire first episode. I watched halfway through the second one, the episode 9, before I had to go grab a cigarette. I just needed one. And hang on. I really like, I'm a big fan of like harmonies.
Oh, I love that they use the song so much in so many different styles. I love that.
Okay.
No, I liked so much about this show. I just think that
here's the thing, and don't take this the wrong way. I am not my opinion of that episode is not contingent on whether you like it or not. So the idea that I need to change your mind or whatever is kind of
we're not having a debate. Yeah, it's not yeah.
I get why you don't like it, and I know you get why I like it.
Okay.
And that's all I think we need to say.
No,
also, fuck you. You fucking dick.
So I was raising my hand again because I thought another thing too.
I wish you could see us.
Would you hit time out?
We're both on a ramp. Yeah.
Would you have preferred it be a Disney Plus movie and just come out on Halloween and be like a 2-hour movie and do something that I don't know because I'm with you. Why the fuck is she killing the witches?
Right.
It's never explained why she tries to kill the witches all the time. I never understand that. That's what keeps her immortal? Because that's what I was kind of thinking.
If they just say that, if somebody asked and they were like, "We've already told you she's a covenless witch, and that's how she stays immortal." Like, okay, I guess you did say it at different times in the series, I guess. But
also, not enough Rio. That is my big critique on this.
I loved the fucking makeup at the end of episode 8. I think they had shown that makeup before, but the half skull face.
Again, points, and I can't say this enough, points to this fucking show for not doing the Marvel thing and not having a big fight. There's a little bit of a fight, but at one point she just goes, "I'm going to sacrifice myself." Like, it's not a big epic fight. There is like big moment, but it's not like your typical CGI fight.
I think the best I think the best part of episode 8 was when he was like, "Don't take it all," and there was a moment where you're like, "She's gonna take it all."
Oh my god, my watching it with my wife, she goes, "Agatha," like she legitimately.
I thought Agatha. He was gonna say it because he said it so many times during the series.
She's like, "Agatha, honey," like that, like, "Come on, don't do this," and I love that. Like, that's what's so great about her. I will continue to say this.
So many
absolutely,
times.
Absolutely. And I cared way too much about that. Like, I don't mean to phrase it like that. I cared way more than I expected to about that and have these feelings about that show, which is the biggest compliment I could give this show because I had absolutely no interest, no expectations, and I gave it a shot, and I actually turned out to enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, going into the episode or going into the
except
series,
for that last episode.
I know, fucker. Going into the series, I think it wasn't like Miss Marvel, it didn't sneak up on me. I remember that it was coming. I remember when it was on its way, and I remember going like, "Okay, we got to watch this."
You were pitching hard to review it for the show. You're like, "I think we should."
I thought, you know what? We don't have a lot going on with weekly stuff like we did, and that's because Marvel's made a conscious, and that's fine.
And it's really just been
but
this and
to
Penguin.
me, if it's two comic book things going on, let's do them both. The only thing that sucked about it was Wednesday and Sunday. But anyway,
the fucking days.
Yeah, fucking dicks.
Yeah, think of us, asses.
You fucking dicks. We could have been recording every Saturday.
Fucking
anyway,
butt sniff.
Butt sniffers.
Sounds like a band from the 90s.
Right. No, but I had a great time watching it. I really liked all of the actors in it were incredible. I really liked Joe Locke. Oh. He did a great job.
The potions witch.
Jenny Kale.
So
Sashir Zamata.
She made that's a big revelation though. She made it out, and she is outside of Westview.
I don't know that she represents any comic character that I know of.
So,
I don't care because she's a cool character.
Can you refresh like they explained it? The whole bound thing.
Yeah.
How did that work? Like, how did she bound her? Like, how did
she bound her for some like trivial thing so that she could gain power in some way?
In Massachusetts or something. Like, I was bound like this for 100 years.
I didn't really get that. I just knew that in the end, what was revealed is that Agatha had done it. I'm assuming under another guise.
And by the way, that was
under another guise.
By the way, that was a actual moment of her having a human moment where she takes her off the road because she's like, she got what she wanted. And again, what I thought was interesting about this show and Catherine Hahn's performance as Agatha is you can always tell when she's bullshitting a little bit, but it is almost like it's almost like that witchy, like almost like Bewitched kind of thing of like witchy Bewitched. It's like almost like Bewitched a little bit where she's kind of winking at the camera and like she literally winks at the camera during WandaVision and whatnot. But like that idea of like she's letting the audience in on it a little bit of like every time, if you watch every time she's turning it on and making it real Agatha, she's never looking at him. She's looking at the camera. She's always got her back to the coven. Yeah. And I just always thought that was an interesting touch of we always see when she's doing the put on. We always see when she, and I thought that was an interesting, I don't know if it was an actual choice, but I just kind of noticed that. Did you notice that? Like, it seemed like every time she was faking it, she was looking at us with her back to the witches. You know what I mean?
I think,
or maybe I'm looking too much into it.
Well, here's I can't help but compare it a little bit to WandaVision because, you know, if you remember, we started watching this show and it was the first thing post-COVID,
It was the first MCU show. WandaVision was.
Yes. Yeah. But it was
in post Endgame, yeah.
Yeah. And so we're all waiting for it and we watched this first episode.
Well, no, time out. That was Spider-Man Far From Home, I think, post Endgame. Yeah.
When it came out is less important.
It was the first. It was the first MCU show.
It was a big deal, and we were all like, "Oh my god, they're doing this show in this certain way."
It's 2020. They hadn't done anything.
You know, as far as we can tell from the previews, maybe a Roseanne, you know, kind of thing, right? And it was like, "Ooh, this is interesting
Sitcom,
and cool."
Yeah.
So I watched the first 2 episodes because I remember I got done with Agatha All Along a couple weeks ago, and I just let it play. And I'm watching the first 2 episodes, and there's the whole scene where first she finds the plane, and then the lady breaks the glass, and she's bleeding, and then it's like, Wanda, who's doing this to you, Wanda? And I'm sitting there watching this, remembering how much thought and how much brain power we all put into what is going on.
Yeah.
You know, like every week we were like, these are the new clues. Did you see the Grim Reaper's head head thing, fucking headpiece is in the, in between the floors in this opening sequence, shit like that. And like, why is the helicopter red? And like we were just going off like every fucking week. Oh my god, Mephisto, right? Quicksilver. Remember that?
My favorite thing about Agatha All Along was the payoff to Boner, whatever. His payoff of him being a fucking lunatic. That was my favorite thing. Be like, what are you talking about, man? Yeah, just like.
Yeah, he was great.
Evan Peters. But it's fun to see him not play a psychopath. It's great. That's like all he plays.
He's good at it. When you kind of compare the two, you kind of, first of all, I think at the time we all kind of had the same reaction at the end of WandaVision that we did at the end of Moon Knight at the time. A little bit. Kind of like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me, right? Right? A little bit. Obviously, Moon Knight was a shittier ending, but it was kind of like that. Like, it was like it built us all up to all this shit, and then, like, at the end of it, we kind of felt like, not cheated, but almost like, expected a little more. And the great thing about watching that in hindsight, also through the lens of having seen Agatha All Along, you start to realize that Jack Schaefer is a really talented showrunner. She needs to be more involved in stuff. And that she has a way of telling stories that I really, really dig. And WandaVision was a way better show than I think we all remember. And
yeah, that's great.
I really liked Agatha All Along too.
Well, and I love that they did that gimmick, a similar gimmick to WandaVision, but not doing the exact same thing. Starting out doing that and then changing it up.
Right, because I almost thought they were, and I'm like, you got to be shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's Halloween, Jake.
Yeah? Tyler?
Yeah, it's time for you-know-what.
Time to get naked.
Wow.
I thought that was a minute.
No. Not right now.
Not while the mics
Not right now.
Yeah, that's post-show.
Post-show activity.
Post-show hanging brain.
Stick around.
I don't have it on my board.
You don't have the fucking long box?
Oh, my God.
Well, play something. Play like...
Play a little ditty.
It's a long box.
Hey, we're actually talking about comics on the long
We're
box.
talking about comics on the long... Okay, so I was at...
I'm glad you stopped yourself.
No, there's no reason to
Time to be
continue
fucking
that
responsible.
bullshit, you know what I mean? But, by the way, before we continue into the long box, I do want to make it clear, November 21st, The Amazing T-Bird, For You from The Amazing T-Bird, the Christmas album, is coming out everywhere. So just be aware of that. Now...
you can't fucking plug on this.
Yes, I can.
I will not allow it.
I will not allow it.
Quit it.
So, our friends Mayhem Comics still go in there every occasionally, and they still have one of the best places in Des Moines to get comics and collectibles. And
That's
games.
where I got God Country.
Hell yeah, dude! It's a great place. And I was in there the other day, and I was looking to see if they maybe had like a absolute Wonder Woman #1, which we're gonna have to get a second printing on that. Although I do have them, all three of the absolute titles on a pull list now at Jay's.
Cool. By the way, Green Lantern Dark just came out.
I know. I didn't look for it. I didn't.
I
don't fucking care.
I want to branch out into horror. The horror Green Lantern. Fuck you. What are you writing about?
So
I'm just gonna keep just screaming at you. How you trying to?
So back in the day, EC Comics, entertainment comic, was run by a dude named William Gaines. They also started Mad Magazine, which you may have heard of. And for a while, way back in the 50s or the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, was when it kind of started losing its steam, was this thing called the Comics Code Authority. And what it was this ambitious psychologist tried to make the correlation between horror comics and juvenile delinquency was patently false.
Yeah.
Just like the dipshit who fucked up vaccines for us. Wakefield.
It's just the
That's
same.
fuckface.
It's just the same cycle of like trying to put regulations. They did the same thing with fucking heavy metal in the 80s. They did the same thing with video games in the early aughts.
So just like, when the recording industry volunteered to put parental advisory stickers on stuff, that was exactly what they took a cue from the comic industry back in the day when they said, we'll make a comics code authority.
It's like the M rating on a video game still sells.
We'll police ourselves.
Right. Same thing
which I'm sure is actually how the MPAA came about, too.
Yeah, all rating boards came about
of course,
that way.
Yeah, because some fuckface is like, I don't want to see it. Nobody fucking said you had to. Anyway.
I'm going to blame this comic book for my bad parenting.
Yeah, you fuck. Anyway.
It's true, though. That's always what it is.
But anyway, off our soapboxes, they had like these huge, and they're kind of, they're coffee table sized almost. They're bigger, like a bigger size.
Oh yeah,
book.
they're like the bigger, the wider
know how to
print.
describe it. Yeah,
large print, I guess, maybe.
Not your graphic novel size. Anyway, but it's all these EC collections, and they have like Vault of Horror, Tales from the Crypt, all these other ones. And I found this one, Weird Science, and the cover is these two spacemen running away from their rocket because a dinosaur is coming after them. So I had to fucking get this one, motherfucker. Anyway.
Wow.
I bought one yesterday, and I loved it so much I had to go and buy another one today, which I haven't started that one, but this one is really good. And I love one thing I love about these books, and it correlates to Joe, or I saw Joe. It correlates to Jake's long box.
Yeah.
I saw Joe.
Well, Joe Hill, yeah.
But it correlates, in fact, was inspired by the stuff that I'm talking about. And these stories generally are a moral parable told through a fantastic way. Like, for instance, there's one story where the scientist is talking in a 400-seat auditorium, and all you see is him, and he's like, listen, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the law of averages has stopped. And he starts going into express detail what the law of averages is, right? Yeah. Okay? By flipping coins and all that, and he goes through it for like 5 pages. This just ridiculous description of why this is wrong and how this cannot happen and da-da-da-da-da. Then it finally shows the rest of the auditorium, and there's nobody in the seats except for one guy. And he's like, can you believe that? Listen, if this happens with the average seating of this auditorium, and the guy's like, well, I'm just the janitor and today's Sunday.
Huh.
So, like, you see, like, the whole story itself is like, oh, it's supposed to invoke horror or whatever, but they're always a moral parable, but it's just, they always go from one place to the next, and there's always a twist, and I fucking love them, and they're never more than like 5-6 pages long. It's fucking great. But I'd like to tell you about, so I have Weird Science, the EC Archives Volume 3, published by Dark Horse. But I'd like to tell you about this one story because it's interesting. And it's also interesting, this was done in the 50s, so sexual mores and gender identities were different and whatnot. Well, they were more rigid, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of interesting that way, but it's called There'll Be Some Changes Made. And what it is these guys crash land on this planet, this strange planet. Every planet they crash land on has air in all these stories. It's great. So they crash land and they start looking for civilization. They find one and they see people, and all the people run away, and they run into these little igloo things, these brown igloo things. They're like, that's weird. It looks like a bomb shelter or whatever. And their hosts come out and they start talking to them, and they're like, hey, these are friendly people, and they start interacting with them, and there's beautiful dames among them and whatnot. Again, this is the 50s, right?
Yeah.
And the one guy is like, I'm gonna stay here when they all decide to go back, because I want to stay here because I fell in love with one of the women. And he starts, they get married, they start trying to have kids. And she's like, I don't want to have kids. What are you talking about? And so he's like, oh, no, what? So, again, it's the 50s. So his wife doesn't want to have kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
you don't have childless marriages.
Yeah, what do you like? I wonder. What about maternal love? On Earth, we feel it is very necessary for child security, Mother love, bah, how long can it last? And he's like, I wonder what I can do about changing things. Da, da, da. Anyway, so she starts losing weight, or rather her luscious figure, and then she cuts her hair short, and she's like, well, because it's time. And he's like, I don't understand what's going on. And finally, he's just looking around and everything, and he starts to go back to where all those igloos are, and he's like, oh my God, I know why. I know why all of the babies are born in one place, and then they come out whatever. And he goes back to the nursery, and they're fucking snails.
What? The babies are snails?
The humans are all snails. Those are their shells.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's amazing.
But the best part is he's running back and he's like, that explains why Luana has been acting strangely lately. These people are like the variety of snails back on Earth that are hermaphroditic.
Wow.
They change sex. The male changes to a female and gulp vice versa. When I get home, I tiptoe into Luana's bedroom and light the light. I stare at the heavy stubble growing out of his cheeks, the broadened shoulders, the flat chest. Ho-hum, Arnold, is it you? Luana looks at me with sleepy eyes.
Oh, my God.
Even those long eyelashes have shed. His glance drops, then he shrugs. Arnold, baby, I wish you'd hurry up and change so that things can be normal again.
Wild.
Right? Like, these stories are fucking crazy, man. The next one is about a guy who steals mobsters' organs from the fourth dimension. He explains how he does it. And like,
what?
He like, this guy dies, and then a second later, like, this really good person is like, I'm fine, you know? And at the end, he's like, well, look at it like this, okay? And this is how you take, like, I'm just going to take all your organs. You see how
Oh
I
my
do
God.
that?
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Let me look at this.
Yeah. He's totally a Mr. Mixelplick.
This is why I tend to look. I'm not saying I can't connect and enjoy like literature and books of different times. I've done it before. But man, comic books, more than books, it is real obvious of how times have changed the medium. Because these are fucking wordy as all get out, my God.
Oh, yeah.
It's all
dude.
It's all grid paneling and then just fucking dialogue.
There's no
It's not very much a visual thing.
They didn't
Whereas you read like
play
modern
with panel. They didn't play with panel
right.
like.
And modern comics understood more and more that it's a partnership between a writer and an artist.
Yes.
And it's a visual medium. And this is just wordy.
Don't get me
as
wrong.
shit.
There's a lot of great art in these books.
No,
And-
yeah, I'm not saying
and
that, but I'm saying obviously you can see how times have changed, and the comics more.
You
artists
showed
and-
me, yeah, absolutely, and how they draw like
Yeah.
action and everything. Like they used to use
It's
like
much more visual.
they used to use like literal like speed lines to denote that somebody was running.
in
and
my
now
in my long box.
yeah. Well, let me before you get to yours. You showed me yours last week, and you said something about old comics or older
Yeah.
comics, and I thought immediately of EC Comics. And William Gaines, who died, I think recently, but pioneer in the field. Are we too loud? Okay. Pioneer in the field, but you reminded me of that, and then I went into Mayhem the other day, and like I said, I saw these giant $20 books. I almost got the Vault of Horror, which the cover was a bunch of people on a subway with a horrified look and just a disembodied hand, like all bloody and stuff, hanging on one of the hooks. And I thought about it because I was like, those are really cool. But these stories are just as cool. And they all involve like science fiction of some sort. I think those Vault of Horror and Tales from the Crypt and whatnot,
more straight up.
they're more straight up
horror.
like just horror and like, hey, human beings are awful to each other. I'm like, I know that already.
Well, this is like the kind of like the Bradbury.
Ray Bradbury is one of the people who's often one of the writers in these books.
Well, yeah, it's very much his style
one
of
the
that
stories.
Like, Wally
Wood, who's a
sci-fi.
comic legend. Will Eisner, I believe, wrote for them. Mary Severin.
I mean, Eisner would make sense because there's literally the Eisner Award.
Yeah, like I said, William Gaines, who
Yeah.
started Mad, Al Williamson, who's been a giant in the field for decades. But yeah, just a really, if you get a chance, I believe that's how much they are. I didn't like get it on sale, but it's like 5 issues. I bought it yesterday. Usually I'll finish like a graphic novel in a day because it's a graphic novel. But you're right, it's wordy. I haven't even read all the, like, in the middle of all these stories.
Like there's like letters about it?
There's letters pages, but no, there's this. In every issue, there's just a short story.
Huh.
And I haven't read any of those. So I'm just saying, like, for the value, $20, you're going to be reading that for a while. Yeah. So, that's a good, like, 10, 12 shits right there.
Well, it's just funny of a parallel of our long boxes here, because whereas like you're talking about what you picked that up and then you bought another collection. I read this book and then I literally bought the box set.
They're not all winners.
But I bought.
They're entertaining.
I loved this so much that I bought the box set for all the other books of this line. So this is Basket Full of Heads, written by Joe Hill, drawn by Leo Max, and then the colors by Dave Stewart.
What's with kids these days? We have first names and last names, and calling yourself like Charlie XCX, and I don't understand what you're. There's last time I checked, there was an E at the end of Charlie.
That's right.
Leo Max.
Sometimes
that's
I don't
just
know.
One word.
Would you stop? You derail me because I don't know where to go with that. Where do I go with that with you?
Well, you jump on my long box.
Oh, fuck you. I was contributing to the conversation.
Contributing.
Any Hoosiers.
Anyway, sorry.
Basketball.
The art is fantastic, by the way.
Think of the fucking comedy!
I bumped it. I didn't even intend that.
It was perfect. It was to tell me to shut up.
God, scared the shit out of myself. So, anyway, this book came along. I had heard about it for a while because I told you, I think I've said on this show, I've been a Joe Hill completionist.
That's fucked up that you're willing to admit that on the air.
So I finished all of his novels. I've finished 2 of his 3 short stories collections.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Written. And then now I'm going into his comic books because I think it was like right before COVID. It was 2019. He met up with DC and pitched them on the idea of doing horror comics. Because like you were just talking about with that with your collection.
Yeah.
Those books fucking sold gangbusters, man.
Yeah.
Even by today's standards, those books sold. And he brought that up to DC because
within months, everybody was making horror comics.
Yeah.
And not nearly as good as these.
And yeah, he even said, he's like, they were still making more than Cape books. So he pitched them on this idea of doing that kind of approach and like, let's do some horror comics. Let's do a Blumhouse for horror comics and have like a comic line, and that's how they came up with Hill House Comics. He does 3 series. There's other writers, other artists. So I bought the complete box set. So and this is what I love about them. They're all miniseries. They are all, quick reads. Like I devoured this in like 2 days.
That's what I love about these. You get to the twist in 5 or 6 pages, and then you get to another story.
Yeah, and
but I do love the idea of like having like a completed series of a
by the way,
show.
$100 box set. I found it for $30, so I immediately bought it. So I can't wait to read that.
Mine was still cheaper.
The main reason I bought the box set is because there's a mini series that's only in the box set. It's called Sea Dogs. And it's another series Joe Hill does where it's werewolves in the American Revolution. And I'm like, well, I need to read that. But any Hoosiers, back to what I was talking about. Basketball.
You seem to like the Indiana Hoosiers a lot.
They brutalized Nebraska so bad, I jumped ship.
Really?
Yep, I'm a Hoosier fan. Hoosier fan now.
That is too bad.
No, not really. This story is set in 1983, and it follows the story of June. And it is such a weird... And I think this is why I love horror as a genre. Because I feel like in every medium across the board, I think horror as a genre consistently for decades, and I think it's why it's always made money and always been successful, is because it has the weirdest, most unique stories in it. Like you just talking about fucking snail people just a little bit ago.
Yeah, who comes up with this shit?
So this book, the big plot line of it is June is attacked by this escaped convict that are breaking into the house that she's in. She steals this old Nordic axe, and there's a struggle, and she chops the dude's head off. But then she finds out that he's still talking to her after she's chopped his head off. And like that, then this story just gets more and crazier after that.
I will say, just flipping through the other day when I was over here, I saw like a page or two of when she first discovers.
Yeah.
Or I think if she's got a basket of them or whatever, but she's like, "Will you stop talking? Like, why are you still talking?"
Yeah.
And it's just kind of bizarre. I love the art in it that I've seen.
Oh, the art's fantastic, and that's another thing. Talking about the collection that you had,
it totally reminds me of that stuff.
It's not glossy. It's like that paper stock, so it looks like an old comic.
Yeah,
and I love that about it. The artwork is great. This is very much, and he said that was the intention as such. This is very much in the vein, and why I think you would like it, of Evil Dead. And like slapstick gore, like legitimate, like really cool horror moments, but also a lot of really funny dark moments, dude.
Yeah.
Like there is so much good humor in this. And the final twist at the very end of the book, I legitimately, as I'm reading it, like close it for a second and just laughed. Because I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. Because
don't spoil it.
No, I won't. But in the context of the whole story, you realize, like, oh my God, what was this all for? And it's kind of brilliant. And I rarely can I say.
What are any stories for, really? To entertain
no.
us.
That's, I mean, all the crazy shit that happens in this story could have been avoided, you know. And
oh yeah.
And it's just such a satisfying thing. And I think what excites me about the other books and the rest of this box set is the fact that I've said for such a long time that some of the best books utilize the mini, some of my favorite stuff are like God Country and things like that are like mini series.
I really liked.
I love that
the last couple of years they'll do like a 5-issue miniseries for Marvel.
That's what I mean. I think there's a lot to be said about like one-off, just miniseries. Like this book.
I like
this
completed.
Book is so self-contained. You finish it, you're done. You're
I'm a
satisfied.
completionist.
By the time I read it, I was like, damn, that was fucking awesome. Like I can't wait to read more about it. Read more of the other books.
I can't believe I'm about to admit this on the air, but I'm a completionist too.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But I wanted to show you some of the other examples.
While you're looking for that, what I mean is like, you know, when I do go into the comic,
first time, like she chops off his head, like oh my God.
when I do go into the comic store, I don't want to get involved in an ongoing book. I just don't.
Or I know that the book has an end, so you know if
I know it's one of 5, I'm down. I'll get 5 of those. That's what, $30. Jesus. God. And you got the whole box set.
This is why I don't buy floppies anymore. I just buy trades.
That's kind of why I try to stay away from it and just like, oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
I'll wait till the book comes out or whatever. I'm still looking for the 3rd volume of We Only Find Them When They're Dead, which is a great book that we're going to review.
I still have that first one.
I know.
First one, I haven't read it.
It's okay.
Fuck you.
I reread the second one.
It isn't a long box, but I am reading another book. I just started another series called The Massive. It's by Brian Wood. He also did DMZ. I never finished DMZ, but I did like that a lot too. I got the first 2 volumes. I'll see how I feel about it after that. But because I think the last time I sat down and just like ripped through a whole series was East of West, and that was 10 volumes. So, I mean, 10 at about, 6 or 7 issues? But I don't know. But all I'm saying is a lot can be said about a really solid beginning, middle, and end miniseries, and I love that these books were like that. It does suck that the minute I start devouring it and getting into it, he says like, "Oh, I'm done doing comics for a while. I'm gonna go back to writing books." I'm like, "You bastard!"
Here's the best part:
there is a sequel to this
Saga.
That fucking series will never end.
No, they have a.
They did say they have
finite number of issues like that they're going to do.
Yeah.
So they took a hiatus. Their first one they took was at the halfway point, which I believe was issue 56. So I think it's 112. I can't remember what it was, but it was the halfway point. And so eventually there is going to be an end to this. And I believe they just had issue 69.
Nice.
But since they've been back from that first hiatus, they've taken like 2 others. So it's just really frustrating. So what I did, every time I would come back and get the issue after the first one back.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I don't want to, because there's always a cliffhanger at the end of when they take a hiatus or of some sort. And so I'm like, I don't want to read this one because I don't have that one. And I'd have to wait for the collection to come out. So I said, fuck this. And I was at the comic store and I said, no, I want to put Saga as one of my pulls. Okay. So that I don't miss an issue.
Never again.
Never again will I miss.
Just read it by the trade.
But here's the thing. And we'll get out of here after this.
I'm pretty sure you gave me I think you gave me volume 1 and I never read it and I gave it back to you.
Yeah, you should have.
Maybe I still have it.
It's fine.
I want to read it.
Here's the
I've
thing.
been meaning to read
Here's
it.
the thing: is they have the. I had the first 9, and you can actually first 9 collections
volumes,
right? And you can actually get now like the Omnibus 1, which is the first 9 volumes, and they have 3, I think, at this point. But I am going to buy the collections or the books as I need them, and then when I'm done, when the book's done, I'm going to buy those giant-ass collections or the box set of whatever. Because that's going to be... It's already a sprawling epic, but I can't wait. Can't wait to see where else this takes us. If you're not reading Saga, man, you're just a fucking a-hole.
Wow. Guess I'm a fucking a-hole.
I love how you just like... Why did you censor ass? You know?
Yeah.
Where's just a fucking asshole?
Well, I keep looking over my shelf. I've been meaning...
Stop it.
Well, because I'm trying to look for...
Stop it. Look at me in the eye.
Stop it. Because I want to get... Because I'm thinking of like another series that I started and I never finished. But it's over now, and I want to get the Omnibus, which they called the... it's Sex Criminals. Oh, yeah. And they have a complete edition. They have one called the Complete Edition, but complete is spelled C-U-M. Oh, yeah. Complete. I'm like, I almost bought it. It was $50. I'm like, I almost bought it. But
there's this.
It's a really solid book. The 3 volumes that I do have, I love, and I would love to get that at some point. So I gotta hunt that for a deal, you know. Maybe some Cyber Monday, Black Friday deals. You know what I mean?
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.